All right, ladies, well, we're going to go ahead and get started this evening. So, welcome to Thursday night. Of course, tonight we are covering element number 9. And
Oh,
when,
I said 8.
huh?
I said we were doing 8 tonight. Did we do 8? Did we do 8 last week?
We did 8 last week.
Did we?
Or you did 8 last week.
Oh, y'all. I'm so dumb. Lordy. Okay, yeah, we did.
You made an honest mistake. It's all good. So, so we are doing element number 9 tonight. And and where I was at just a minute ago was we are just now getting into the part where we're going to start talking about quote, quote, the food. And so Alice still can't believe she did that, but anyway, it's all good. But so how do you use fuelings to reach a healthy weight? So we're going to kind of dispel some myths tonight and talk about some things, talk about fuelings, and talk about a little bit about what life looks like beyond the fuelings. And I know Dr. A makes a reference in here to the Habits of Health book. It's part 2.6. So when you get some time, that's going to kind of be your reference for this. But I just like Allie tonight, I noticed that my life book is starting to crumble apart.
It is falling apart, Kenny.
And so that, a life book that's in shambles means that you're doing something right, and just like the Bible. So anyway, with that said, we're going to go ahead and dive into that mindset and that skill set and the action for the night. Of course, the mindset is explore the value and simplicity of packaged fuelings when eating every 3 hours. Create a simple and convenient fueling plan for the weight loss phase of your journey. And then, of course, finally, understanding the value and the timing of eating whole foods. And so anyway, Allie, I know you may not be prepared, but we can rock back and forth off this.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm good. I am prepared. I mean, I always love starting this element by saying, can we just stop for a moment and say it's taken 8 elements to get under our belt before we get to number 9, and Dr. A finally talks about the fuelings. And I wanted to say that because he very thoughtfully put these elements in a particular order in this book. And how we utilize the fuelings and how we use the fuelings is element number 9. Because if you don't know your why, if you're not working on a healthy mindset, you aren't gonna have success on this journey. It doesn't matter. Like there's nothing. I always say this. Our fuelings are amazing, but there's nothing magical about them. There's no magical special weight loss ingredients in them. None of that at all. So, I think that what he says over and over again, by the way the program is set up, by the way your journey is set up, by what you cover with your coach, those first, month on your program, 2 months on your program, is that, we all get so focused in on the food, and Dr. A says, hey, it's not the food, because I know that I told my coach, I know how to eat healthy. And she's like, well, if you know how to eat healthy, why are you 50 pounds overweight? And I was like, that's a good point. So as we dive into this, I want to talk really quickly about, on page 194, one of the key obesity researchers, Dan Zeiger, once stated that if we could overcome the psychological and logistical barriers, we could eradicate obesity in a matter of months. So let's just pause on that before we even get started. Psychological, because what puts the food in our mouth, what makes us stick to our habits, our actions, and our emotions determine our actions. So we've got to fix that first, which is what we were doing in element 4, right? Because that is what gets the good stuff into our mouth. We can know what's healthy to eat, but if we don't put healthy stuff in our body and do it the way our body needs it to go in, we're not going to have success. Or we may be able to, if we cut a bunch of calories like you do in a million diets, you might be able to get some weight off, but it's not going to stay off, is it? Right? And even on this program with these fuelings, if you do not do the brain work, the psychological part, and you don't create logistic ways to maintain a life as a grazer, and you're going to gain the weight back. I mean, as simple as that. If everything comes back in your pantry that you took out, if all the old eating places start coming back up in your repertoire and you're grabbing the old stuff, that's the logistical part. And the psychological part is you use the old unhealthy coping mechanisms, you bring those back in rather than all the wonderful mindset work we're talking about, you're going to gain it right back. And so I want everyone to know, as someone who's done this 6 years, and I've had some ups and downs, right? That's just me working through those psychological barriers, right? And it's not a failure. This is not a straight line. You will have times where you're like doing great, doing great, doing great, doing great. And then something happens and you go off kilter and then you don't feel well and you try and go back to old stuff, but you realize that doesn't serve you anymore and you move forward. So let's just go and we'll focus on the fuelings now, but I feel like I had to get that off my chest. Having our prepackaged meals to place in those 3-hour fueling intervals has so many advantages. There are other brands available, but we are the only one, Optavia is the only one that comes with a free coach, this amazing Habits of Health transformational system. And y'all, it is so good. Dr. Anderson really did pull from all the right places to give us what we need to make this a transformational system for lifelong health and wellness. And of course, I cannot leave out our amazing community of support. The important advantages of our fuelings, I'm just going to run through this really quickly because you guys know this. 27 vitamins and minerals. We also have proteins and carbohydrates. So if somebody goes, well, I don't want to do Optavia because I don't believe in, cutting out carbohydrates. We don't. We have tons of carbohydrates, but they're the good kind. They're the healthy kind. They're the kind that our body craves and needs and wants, including our mind. We have probiotics, right? Because our gut health is so important during this journey. And the vitamins and minerals are important because when you're eating in the caloric zone for weight loss, it becomes that much more important what is in the food that you eat. I have a real problem with diets that still let you eat French fries and all kinds of yucky stuff, but still cut the calories, because now that means you're getting less calories per day, but those calories are junk. They're not giving your body what it needs, and your metabolism will start eating your muscles and not pull from your stored fats. The way these fuelings are designed, it's to give your muscles and your organs all the vitamin and mineral support they need so that it encourages your metabolism to pull from your stored fats and not from your muscles. They're low glycemic, okay? And that's important. A lot of the problems we have are the way that we've eaten in the past. Our blood sugar goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And that means lots of energy. I'm tanking and want to go to sleep. Lots of energy. I have nothing. Okay. It's keeping your insulin level stable. And that is important. This program was designed, these fuelings were designed for diabetics, and they've actually found it's exactly what everybody needs to eat, or the way we need to eat and learn how to eat in order to have a healthy life moving forwards. They're portable. When people are like, "Ooh, girl, I'm going on a trip, so it's going to be really hard to do this." No, it isn't. It might be hard from a temptation standpoint, but it is super easy to pack these bad boys, and it's way better than airport food. It's way better than anything you're going to pass if you're taking a road trip, and it gives you great energy and you feel good and your body just loses weight while you're eating it. So there's really no reason why it can't come with you on vacation. And there's no reason why, if you have a busy life, my teachers, my nurses, my doctors, my EMTs, my police officers that are stuck in the car for hours at a time, truck drivers, right, in the car for hours at a time. This is such a great thing for them, because where fast food may have been their only answer before, I should say yard guys, because you guys just go from yard to yard to yard to yard. Y'all don't have time to eat. Kenny can stuff one of these in his pocket, and while he's mowing, he can be jamming on one of those and have his water and just keep about his day and have that incredible energy. They can be used long-term to provide a solution for your every 3-hour fueling when you're unable to cook or prepare a whole food meal as you move into the optimization and longevity phases. So a lot of people do ask, "Hey, Allison, am I going to eat these the rest of your life?" Well, that's up to you. I still, 6 years later, I have a bar in the morning with breakfast because I've never been a big breakfast eater, but that is such an important part of the day to start my metabolism up. So I have a bar for that. But I mostly eat whole foods, lean and green all day long. But I do have them for when I go on trips. I do have them for when I'm going to have a really busy day. And I can just, pull out a bar, whatever. But it's really great to know we've got this awesome nutrition that we can pull from. And, I could go buy protein bars from the grocery store, but they don't have the same great non-GMO ingredients that these do, and they cost about the same. So I just as soon get these. So while whole foods are better for you, how many of you started this program and said, I don't want to eat prepackaged foods. I'm all about eating whole foods. I said that. While whole foods are better for you, our first area of focus needs to be getting down to a healthy weight. And guess what? I had access to whole foods my whole life. And guess what? I was 50 pounds overweight. So guess what? Allison didn't have self-control with whole foods. And these feelings came in and they helped me develop better eating habits. They helped me not have to think about things, and they supported my body really well. So yes, we're going to teach you how to eat healthy for life, and most of that food will be whole food. But right now, we're going to start with baby steps, and we're going to build the habits that'll make your healthy eating transformation permanent. Our prepackaged fuelings provide a powerful tool to help do the heavy lifting as we start your weight loss journey. It's the first micro habit of health, right? So what is this micro habit? It's going to be becoming a grazer. It's going to be creating natural portion control, because in that grazing, we're eating smaller, more frequent meals all day. Now, for those of you who've been on your journey for a while, did you notice that after about a week or two on plan, when you get to that lean and green meal, which is a bigger meal, I've had clients and myself say, I don't know if I can eat this whole thing, right? You'd think you'd be warping it down, but sometimes it was hard because our stomachs are small now. We created natural portion control. We created what people go and get surgically worked on with the lap band or the gastric bypass to achieve. We achieve that naturally, right? And it's something that when we do it long enough, it becomes our natural. And if we accidentally overeat, like we go to a barbecue and the barbecue's really, really good, you can only eat so much before it's like enough. So I love that too. It helps keep us from overeating. It's a consistent, manageable way to lose weight. It helps people overcome logistics in their current lifestyle, like I said, because these are grab and go. And you know what? We have different kinds. If you're retired and you're not having to get a lot of grab and go because you're around the home a lot, if you're a stay-at-home mom, don't we have plenty of fuelings that you can cook in the microwave? We sure do. So you can do those. But if you are a nurse and you're literally running from patient to patient to patient to patient all day, you can have bars, shakes, things that you can do that can work in where before you weren't able to eat and it was killing you to get through your day, right? So this is really great. You'll lose weight quickly and safely. You'll feel better and have more energy. And it creates what Dr. A likes to call the teachable moment, when you'll be even more eager to learn the other habits once you start feeling how amazing you feel with these fuelings and being a grazer, keeping your insulin level stable, and just feeding your body all day long. It's an amazing energy. It's better than a cup of coffee, wouldn't you say, Kenny? Yeah. Do you want to go on and talk about the 24-hour clock and on page 198? Touch base on that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and one thing I want to touch on that you just said a little while ago, whether you're a new person or maybe somebody's looking and they happen to catch this video, the excuses that you said, I'm so busy, I don't have time to do this, or here again, this takes all of the excuses out of the equation. And another excuse that I want to address while we're here tonight is just talk a little bit about costs. So it's very simple with this plan. Of course, your coach is free, but it's basically $15 a day. And I know you referenced me earlier when you said that, our guys, when we're out, we stop and grab and go. I buy my guys lunch every day. A foot-long sub at Subway with chips and a drink, it's $17 now.
One meal.
So, one meal.
One meal.
Yeah, one meal. Not three, not two, but one meal, $17. So, and whether it's Subway or if we go to Sheetz and they get whatever, it's still about $17, depending on where I go. And it doesn't matter if it's a burger place or wherever, they grab whatever and I'll just pay for it. But I see it, but I don't partake in it. And especially at a burger joint or whatever. So don't allow that excuse of, man, this sure is expensive, because if you're fueling your body properly and you're eating 6 times a day and you're doing it with this program, number one, you're going to find that you start saving money. Because I did that 5 years ago. I thought at first, I was like, man, me and my wife are both doing this. This sounds a little expensive, but I quickly found out I was spending almost $30 a day eating out. So I put $15 a day in a jar. And when I got to my goal weight, we took a week's vacation in Nags Head and I paid cash for it with the money I'd saved.
Check that out.
So that And that was real talk. That was a real deal because that's exactly what happened in my process. And so anyway, getting back to page 198. Basically, we've got three components there. You choose five prepackaged meals every day. And I tell my clients, I'm sure I do the same thing. When you first start, label your bags Monday through Sunday, and put 5 fuelings in each bag. And when you wake up the next morning, you grab a bag, pick your first fueling, prepare it. Doesn't matter if you have a brownie for breakfast or mashed potatoes for breakfast, because the great thing with our fuelings, they are all interchangeable, just like she said, 24 vitamins and minerals. And then if you look at the clock, basically you're going to be fueling your body every 2.5 to 3 hours during the day. You're also going to prepare that one lean and green meal. And you'll use the Habits of Health clock to space out those 6 fuelings over every 3-hour period. Something I do want to address while we're here, because we have some nurses that work long shifts. Timing and structuring your day. So for some, that can be a challenge. I know some of my school teachers, it's a challenge. Some of my nurses who go into surgery, maybe they've got a 6-hour surgery, they can't drink water, they can't eat. But how do we navigate that? We have to figure out how long are you going to be up? And then we have to either double up on fuelings when they come out of surgery, or before surgery, if you got a 6-hour surgery, have 2 fuelings right before surgery, come out and have another one, and keep yourself moving forward. So it takes a little bit of planning for that aspect, but getting them into that structure of fueling their body so that they can make these necessary adjustments during the day is huge. Also, work with your coach on that. Some of my nurses that work 24-hour shifts, I encourage them to, work with your coach so that you can fuel your body every 3 hours while you're up for 24 straight. Takes a little bit of extra management and practice there, but it's definitely doable for sure. Of course, he says you can pick where you want to have your lean and green during the day. You can also split your lean and green meal up. That's one thing I do with my nurses. They'll eat half a lean and green meal at dinner, and then maybe around midnight have the other half of it, and they're still eating fuelings every 2.5 to 3 hours. There again, lean in with your coach on that, on how to navigate those long days or those time schedules. One important thing is making sure that you consume all 5 of your fuelings every day, and also your entire portion size of your lean and green meal. And those who come in here, again, that was me. We all come in with this diet mentality. Well, if I'm not hungry, maybe I'll just skip a fueling. Well, hear me on this. The program is so exact that if you don't follow it to a T, it will cause your results to be skewed or go sideways. So if you, by cutting a fueling out, you flip that metabolic switch in your body, and your body goes into fat storage mode again. So you slow down your weight loss for that week. And conversely, if you have, and I've used this example before, my 2 grapes, had one of my clients eat 2 grapes. I don't only eat 2 grapes every day. How's that going to hurt me? It flipped that metabolic switch from going into fat burning to go into fat storage. He went sideways that week. So very, very exact there. The lean and green meal. And of course, let's talk a little bit about that lean and green meal, just to dig in a little bit deeper. All of you, when you received your program, of course, you got that Spiral Bound Optavia guidebook. That is your Holy Bible while you're in this process, next to your life book. But you'll find your options for your lean and green meal and so forth. I believe it's on page 19. And so make sure you familiarize yourself with this portion. Your proteins are on here, and your vegetable servings are on there as well. Make sure that if you don't have this resource, you can find on Optimal Awakenings. You can search vegetarian guide. And what that basically are vegetable conversion chart. The vegetable conversion chart will tell you how much does a cup of lettuce weigh, for example. So you can use that to weigh your portion sizes for your vegetables. And folks, hear this. I know that the 5-in-1 plan is very easy to follow. And just like Allie said, not everybody chooses to have fuelings for the rest of their life, and that's fine. You can use them on occasion, which I still do on occasion. It's healthy alternatives. But the real magic in this whole process is the lean and green meal. Learning how to fix a healthy, low glycemic, low carb meal that's going to be healthy and fuel your body appropriately, that is going to be the foundation for you as you move forward. So think of the fuelings as this. The fuelings are basically a set of training wheels, if you will, so that you can focus all your energy on your lean and green meal. Once you begin to focus your energy on that lean and green meal, over time, you develop these habits. Well, here again, for most of us, we know that a deck of cards is about the size of our protein serving. Not perfect, but it's pretty close. But as you weigh these portions and measure them consistently, 30, 60, 90, 120 days, and you do that daily, you can begin to see and picture what your portion sizes for your lean and green meal look like, so that when you get to your goal, you know what you've got to do. You've got to eat more lean and green meals. You've got to eat more. Here again, we'll dive into more about the healthy snack alternatives to fuelings later as well too, because they're in the Habits of Health book. I believe it's page 284. Here again, you won't utilize those, but until you get to your goal weight. And so that's where a lot of people are really curious. They want to know, but they think that they're smarter than the program and the system, and they can work it and try to save a little bit of money. Hear me on this. You've committed to losing 50 pounds and you're 15 pounds into your journey. Finish the process, but also finish the process the proper way by leaning in with your coach, asking questions. And when we get close to our journey, you've got to dive into this on a daily. And that's why it's called the Life Book. It's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Element 14 is where we really dive into what does life look like beyond fuelings? How do we transition from the fuelings? And we'll dive into more of that later on. Also with the lean and green meals, I want to point this out. We talk a little bit about healthy fats. So depending on which protein portion you choose, we want to make sure you get the proper serving of healthy fats. So you're allowed 2 servings per day, but depending on which protein you pick, if you choose lean ground hamburger meat, for example, you would not need to use a healthy fat because it's already in that meat. But if you use shrimp, for example, you would need to get 2 servings of healthy fat. Now, healthy fat can be salad dressing on your salad. It can be olive oil. You can saute your shrimp in olive oil, but you've got to make sure that you get in that healthy fat. And what the healthy fat will basically do is healthy fats keep you full and satiated or full feeling the following day. So be sure you get those healthy fats in, and it'll also continue you on your weight loss phase as well.
And while you're there, before we switch over to the next page, I just want to remind everybody, because a lot of people say after the first month you don't get another Optavia guide, and I love tracking my stuff. You can see on page 199 it says you can download copies at habitsofhealth.com, and he means copies of a daily schedule for fuelings. So you can absolutely do that. So just wanted to throw that in there. Habitsofhealth.com has that.
Yep. And then, then they also dives a little bit more into fueling schedules. So those who work typically have a different fueling schedule during the week than you do on the weekend. So here again, just like I said earlier, just remember this process is not perfect every day, but those who work Monday through Friday, it can be pretty regimented because your schedule's regimented. Now, on the weekend, you may not get up at 5 a.m. You may get up at 9, and you may go to bed at 1 a.m. So you would just simply need to modify your fueling schedule to make sure you get in, number one, all of your fuelings during the day, make sure you get in your lean and green meal, and make sure you get in all of your water. So it's so imperative to do that. Just make sure you do that. He also says you can use a schedule and the fueling suggestions outlined in part 2.6 for the Habits of Health healthy meal plans for optimal health. Let's see.
I also want to pop in and say too, I know a lot of people have questions about if they say, oh, Allison, I've got the stomach virus. And, and my whole thing is if you have the stomach virus or you are really sick with strep throat or whatever, and your doctor just needs you to lay down and sleep for 9 hours, going to give you meds to make you pass out so your body can heal. Don't worry about the fuelings. Don't try and eat fuelings when you can't hold anything down. Like, just let your body go through the process of healing when you're sick, and then just get right back into it. Okay. There are times when you have something, and I'm just using the stomach virus for an example. Your stomach goes through this series of getting, your body gets everything out, and then it can only tolerate certain things for a few days as your stomach just kind of recuperates. And what you don't want to do is try and jump back in before your body is ready for that and have that make you feel sick or have that prolong you not feeling well. And you can just tell your coach, like when you're like, hey, I'm sick this week. Just want you to know, FYI, when we check in on Monday, just remind me, because that's where we are. And I just, I think we're like, oh no, I can't mess it up. But you have to listen to your body first when it's sick, and you got to let it heal itself. And then just talk with your coach, and they'll help you find the time when it's right to start introducing things like that back in. But also they can help you in the meantime, help make good choices that will make you feel better and will be good for you and won't like send you off the rails. Okay. So just that's a time when you're feeling better to lean in. But there are times where you'll have little interruptions in your journey like that, and that's okay. This is a journey. And I just want you to know that, we work on that. And if you have a day that you're like, you missed a fueling, that's a great opportunity to go back and go, well, geez, I wonder why I missed it. And you can talk about your coach with that. Maybe you need to start setting alarms again. Maybe, you didn't have enough with you when you ran out. So maybe you need to stuff a few extra in your purse just to have, or your briefcase or whatever. So, these are all things, but they're all learning opportunities. And just, the time of beating ourselves up over things like this is over. We're not doing that on this journey. We're not doing that. We're having a healthy relationship with this. And that's where your coach and the community support really come into play, and being supportive of you and helping you see it as a learning opportunity, and not as like the old way to where you would beat yourself up or be disappointed in your choices or whatever. We're not doing that. When we make a sideways choice, we get excited because it's an opportunity to learn more about ourselves and learn about something that might be a stumbling block, and then learn how to conquer that and move past it for good. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yep. And next week we're going to start diving into the fueling scheduling of this process. Once you learn it, it's pretty simple. It's you have 5 fuelings every day. You have a lean green meal, whichever combination of fuelings you want. Make sure you drink your water and you move forward. But we're going to start focusing on different aspects next week. It'll be hydration and the purpose of that. So with that said, I'm going to stop recording.